Can I leave my sluice box in the water while I go and dig some more dirt, or do I need to pull the box out? Also, how many buckets of material can I put through a sluice box before I need to clean it up? Well guys, those are some very good questions, and those are the type of questions that you can ask a handful of different people and you're going to end up with a handful of different answers. However, I can tell you based off my experience, I'm 32 years old right now and I've been gold prospecting since I've been 23, that yes, you can leave your sluice box in the water while you go dig another bucket of dirt and bring it back to the box and run it, and you're not going to end up losing any gold. The only thing that you really want to make sure of, guys, is that the water level in the creek or the river or wherever you're sluicing is running right and your box is set up right. And if that's the case, you're not going to end up losing any gold. But I can tell you that if the water level is going up and down and the box is flushing out and slushing and it's doing a slurry effect, well, you're going to end up losing some gold. If the river's running good and the creek's running good and the water level's consistent and your box is running pretty much the same all day long, I have no problem with going and running a bucket of dirt, going and digging a bucket of dirt and doing that all day long. I've worked like that plenty of days and turned out pretty good cleanups at the end of the day, given that you're on a good gold bearing area. However, guys, how much material can you run through the box before you need to do a cleanup? Well, guys, I've seen people run one bucket and then they pull their sluice box out of the water, they do a cleanup, and then they do that all day long, which I think is pretty ridiculous and it's a waste of time. If you're doing it that way, let's face it, you might as well be out there panning and not even sluicing, because the point of having a sluice box is, well, you're able to run a lot more material than you're panning. But if you want to do it that way, more power to you. All I'm saying is I think it's a waste of time and it's not very efficient. Now, how many buckets of material can you run through a sluice box? Well, it really depends on the box. However, guys, I can tell you that about 7 to 10 buckets is a pretty good number. After about 7 to 10 buckets, it's not a bad idea to pull the box out of the water, empty it out, put the box back in the water, and get back to running again. But the biggest thing, guys, when running material through the sluice box is you want to make sure your box is flushing out and you're not building up. Because after you run for a little while, like after you run 7 to 10 buckets, well, the box starts to get heavy, guys, depending on the sluice box size. And what you want to be doing is you want to be catching all your gold in the first 3 to 4 riffles. You want to see all your gold right up in front of the box, guys. On this Keen box, most of my gold is usually right up here in the front, or it's right here. If I start seeing gold back here in the last 3 riffles, well, there's a problem. It either means that my box is loaded down, I need to do a cleanup, maybe the water speed's a little too fast, or maybe the angle of the box isn't right. Now, as far as the little trap box goes, guys, most of the gold that I catch in this box is right up here in the front. Sometimes I would say this is about my cutoff limit, maybe right here. If I start seeing gold any farther down in the box, that tells me that something's wrong. Maybe I need to do a cleanup. Maybe I ran more than 7 to 10 buckets through the box. Maybe there's black sands, because once you've ran so many buckets of material through the box, well, the box starts to fill up with black sands and it starts to get heavy. And when that happens is, well, the riffles in the front, they no longer catch gold like they're supposed to, and the riffles in the back, which aren't so full, they start doing the work that should be done up here. So a good way to ensure that you're going to get the most gold is, well, you need to pull that box out of the water, you need to do a cleanup, and you need to start over fresh again. So guys, obviously when we're out running the sluice box, we want to recover and catch as much gold as we can get and not lose any of it if we can help it. Most of the time, guys, I dig about 7 to 10 buckets worth of dirt and then I get it all ready and then I just run a whole run through my sluice box. But there have been plenty of time where I wait about 10 to 15 minutes while I go dig another bucket of dirt up and then I bring it back to the sluice. And I've ran like that plenty of times too, and I've had just as good results. And I think there are a lot of other guys out there that run their sluice boxes like that too. So it really comes down to personal preference, guys. As long as the stream is running good, I have no problem with leaving my box running there. But most of the time I do dig about 7 to 10 buckets up through my sluice box, and I do a whole run, then I pull it out of the water, and then I go back to do about 7 to 10 buckets worth more dirt again. But there have been plenty of times when I've done it the other way too. You know, some days I don't feel like digging that much dirt up. I just feel like digging one bucket, run a bucket, dig one bucket, run a bucket, and there's no way in heck I'm going to pull the sluice out of the water if I'm running like that. And I ran like that in the same ground that I've built stockpiles of dirt up and pretty much had the same results in my cleanup. So that tells me right there that the sluice box isn't losing gold when I go back up to the dig hole to dig another bucket of dirt, even if the box is running 10 to 15 minutes. I know on the show Gold Rush they say that you shouldn't run your sluice box if you're not running material through it, but if your sluice box is set up right and your sluice box is set up and it's doing what it's supposed to be doing, you're not going to lose any gold. Maybe some very, very fine gold, but I won't worry about it too much. So guys, that's my 2 cents on the whole deal. Do what you think is best for you. Alright guys, thanks for checking out the video. I hope that helps some of you guys out there. If you want to follow my journey, be sure to smash the subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified on the latest videos, and I'll see you in the next one.